Don, what's going on?
Good evening, Marcus.
So, you know what it is. It's another live special, right? Coming live from you from Texas. We're gonna do data affirm the real.
Yeah, on a Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, for those that are wondering.
All right. So yeah. So speaking of time, we do this every other Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. I'm Marcus Goodwin, and that's my great co-host. What's your name?
Don, aka Jr.Lily, the writer, the author, and the poet.
And the Wednesdays or the weeks that we don't do a Wednesday night, we got our Tuesday night with Kia McLean, the poet, and Shamika, the dart therapist, on a Tuesday night. You got to check them
Indeed,
out. You
7:30
know.
p.m. sharp.
Now, before we get started, I'm gonna get something. I want to get something off my chest.
Go ahead, sir. Say what yours.
It's not bad because right here on Data Front of Real, we want to keep positive. And the
Mm-hmm.
positive thing I want to say is, we're about to do that a live in person event is coming up in October, where you're going to get a chance to see the Shamika, the dart therapist, Mr. Don Jr.Lily himself,
Mm-hmm.
Kia McLean, the poet, and hot damn Marcus Goodwin with no extra shit behind his name.
Mr. Twitter. Mr. Twitter fingers.
Yeah, so you'll get a chance to see us, get a chance to interact with us as we broadcast live. So you come up, ask questions, do everything. We haven't did a live an event in a while. And when I say the live events is really kick dirt, affirm the real off, I know we took a little hiatus, but it's time to get back live. You kind of come enjoy the highlights, the fun. If you ain't been to a DAR event, you are missing out. Come on, represent.
Indeed.
Yeah. So I had to get that off my chest real quick, you know. And for those out there, I see you you out there in Instagram land.
What up, Yule?
Another one of our DAR
Chevalier
members.
life himself.
So, Don, tell me what today's title is for me, please, sir.
Today's topic of conversation is My Dad is Single, the journey of single fathers. So,
Uh,
this topic should be able to be relatable to some guys out there who are single fathers or may be a AKA baby daddy or be that non custodial parent that is in need of some advice, some good information, and just some homegrown bonding between the fellow that we discuss tonight's topic. Hey, Kia, what's going on?
I guess I guess every brother need a little love sometime.
Yeah, that's love right there, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Indeed.
yeah. So about back to the topic, right? So let me bring up the definitions up real quick. Let me bring up the first one.
Before you bring those definitions up, let's get this introduction and disclaimer out of the way because you know we got to go over that for the purpose of explaining to our audience or for those who may be their first time listening. Welcome to Date Affirm the Real, where we empower black couples and singles to be the best version of themselves as we delve deep into the complexities of the human mind and relationships. Hit them with that disclaimer, Marcus.
Whoa. All right. So disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are for those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Date Affirm the Real. Any content provided is their opinion and not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.
Indeed. We got the legalese out of the way. Now let's get down to the business and hit them
Keep it
with those
positive.
definitions as we
Gotcha.
begin tonight's discussion of My Dad is Single, the journey of single fathers. Single fathers, the non Stacodio is a father who does not have a primary physical custody of their children. That does not mean that he is not involved in their life or a part of their life in some major way. It's just the fact based on law of the land. aka Dallas County or Collin County, you don't have custodial rights, which means that you will have visitations on certain days, aka they don't live with you. It comes
All
to
right, so stop right there for 1 second, Don. 'Cause I
yes,
want to touch on something real quick.
yes,
You know, that non-custodial one.
hmm
I mean, when the kid don't live with the dad, which is very common, as we
hmm
just said, I want to make sure. Wait a minute, wait a minute, real quick? Can you see the chat come on your screen?
yes, I did, yes, I did.
All right, I want to make sure because my chats aren't, it ain't coming up right now. But
hmm
a lot of times, especially black men, get a rap sometimes as not being a father. We are often considered baby daddies, which I necessarily don't term I don't care for.
Indeed, indeed.
I think a daddy is a good thing, a father is a great thing, but baby
hmm
daddy, no. You are entitled to the title when you're taking care of your children, providing them financially, emotionally, and doing and pouring into them all aspects of yourself as an offspring of you.
Yeah,
And we often see the BS, and we rarely see the positive where one man is at every basketball game, football game, dance recital, singing competition, but or when the parents are not on good terms, we often hear the bad side, and that pisses me off. I granted I don't necessarily have a had biological children. You know that just wasn't the path I had in my life,
hmm
but I have been around plenty of good fathers who will have primary custody, and oftentimes they make it a bad rap. And
yes,
I just want to make sure here on Dog, we're going to make sure we know dads, black dads, Hispanic dads, white dads, they gonna get all their flowers
indeed,
or bow
indeed.
ties.
There you go. And we do have a comment already in the live indicating the non-custodial parent is not treated fairly within the system. And I do agree with my man Chevalier Life because it is majority going to side with the woman when it comes to most of the times custodial agreements. And that gives man a unfair outlook when they are put through the system basically to even fight for custody, or even the outcome is what the society views a non-custodial parent as Marcus indicated earlier, a baby daddy or a deadbeat dad. It's looked at in a negative way, even though he could be there every day, every weekend, on that hour, every hour, and it still is thought upon in a negative limelight. So hopefully we'll be able to change your views on that and give you some insight as to how all this can turn the tide for single fathers out there and give you a better scope of their responsibilities and their personalities that allows them to be able to become excellent uh, givers and providers and leaders of young adults. That's my definition of what a father does and should do. And here
Right on.
we have another definition for single fathers. With the primary custody is a father who raised a child children without a spouse or living partner. And as much as we see single mothers out there, I give my props to those that are single mothers because it is a hard knock life. And then you look on the flip side of it, there are single fathers out there who do just as much and go just as hard in the pain when attempting to support, provide, nurture, raise, and protect their children. That is something that is not likely shared amongst the masses in society's view, but it does happen in the world.
Yeah, and I can only talk from a struggle of being the primary provider for a child from a man's point of view if I was in that position.
hmm
Because I think about imagine a man trying to raise a daughter on his own.
Yeah.
That's just like a woman trying to raise a man on her own. or a son or own, that is to me. I was thinking like, dang, that's probably the toughest thing in the world for a man to do. Because you can't. It's hard for you to understand some of the things a young female goes through. Hell, even trying to comb a young female, a young child's hair. Yeah.
It 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 is a
What's with
difficult and thought provoking and learning experience because I've been on both sides of the coin, been a non custodial parent as well as a primary custodial parent. So when Marcus speaks of young men raising girls, I've raised three of my girls from baby through teenage all the way to grown women. So I get to see the maturation process, and in the beginning, the struggle is real, and some of those struggles and some of those endeavors we're going to discuss tonight in detail as to what you can equip yourself with to allow you to be successful in the progress. Because when I did it, it was like feet to the fire. You're gonna sink or swim. I'm a type of person. I see a challenge, I'm gonna take it on head on, and I'm not gonna bow down
well,
to it. So
I got a question for you, Don. Then real
yes,
quick,
sir.
if you said you was raising, you was a girl dad,
Yeah,
raising girl,
yeah.
is the green grease better?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, I'm
Yes,
just
it
I don't see how much of a girl dad you are because
is.
when I grew up, I seen my sister. They always had that grease with the green. It was green color. I figured I ain't know if it was better, worse, or blue or green was
Both
better.
of
I
them are
don't know.
good, but for some reason, I just go off instinct of what I've seen my sisters, what I've seen my mothers use. So yeah, I go with the green, right?
Oh, okay.
Can't lose that
And
way.
so this topic is actually came up. Is it was actually brought up through our personal conversations and
Yeah,
me finding out more about you
yes,
and
indeed.
your and the things that you did as a single dad. And we ain't talking about the non-custodial type,
Yeah,
and the things that you had to adjust to, come through, go through, and all of that. I said, man, we gotta bring this to the forefront and let you know
indeed.
because we have to see. You're a transparent bro, so we gotta let you shine on this because I'm gonna clap for you
Thank you, sir.
and all the men out there who's doing it.
Indeed. So let's continue because I will be able to provide some of my insight as to how I was able to navigate and make it through those times. But I will say uh, those times were different times as compared to when I mean like this is back in the 90s, early 2000s as I was raising these girls and compared to what kids go through now. I was right at the cusp at it, so I've missed it by increments. I mean, like the introduction to the cell phones, and you got boys trying to call, all the headaches that you may have experienced as children. Now you as a parent have to experience that when you see your children go through the same process. So
Mm.
definitely something worth discussing as we uh, deep dive into this and start with the first segment. This is finding the right partner, and what we wanted to discuss is the qualities and values single dad might prioritize when finding a partner. Because of the fact that you are a single dad, sometimes we as men need someone to lean on as well. We are the provider, we are the giver, we are the nurturer, we are the protector. There is still a shortage within our cupboard that needs some support. We need that benefactors will be there to provide that other part. If I'm giving 70, 80% today and I'm can't give that last 20, that's when we need someone to be there for us to also help us out as we go forward towards the finish line. Because this is all about uh, finding that life partner, getting someone who gets you, and the when, the where, and the how is what we're going to talk about now. Because I think there's importance in pertaining to finding a partner when you have children, whether they're little girls or little boys. You want to make sure that partner understands and gets the process that you're taking as a custodial parent or single dad in this situation. So let's begin with the first topic is the guidance. And when I wrote this, I wrote it as to when, where, and how to meet like-minded individuals. And speaking from experience, The reason I say when is because as a single parent, I had to determine as my kids got older when I wanted to start dating, when I felt it was the right time for me to no longer focus on their needs, even though their needs is focused on every day. Now let me prioritize what I want to do as I got older. So I was raising these kids from a young age. So we both, it was like we matured together. I was probably in mid 30s or early 30s when, or even like around the age of 30 when I took custody of these children. So you think about that process when you're in your prime and you're used to being a non-custodial parent and partying, shaking your behind every weekend, and all of a sudden you are now the custodial parent. You have to change your priorities, and not only you change your priorities, you change the people that you have around you. You have to determine when, after you clear all the mess out, when is the proper time to find someone that you want to date or provide or have someone that you want to bring around your children, because I think that is very important as we discuss that.
Okay, we're going to
Mhm.
touch on about when a little bit later.
Yeah.
But when you're saying you're trying to find like-minded, you know, I want something I was thinking about. Do you think there might be a double standard when it comes to single dads, or and compared to single mothers, or maybe a different outlook? Because do you feel women get more
Reflecting
sympathy
back,
being a single mom than a dad being a single dad, or what?
well,
I'm asking.
I would say, reflecting back, I do think there was a double standard. However, I didn't focus on it like that because the double standard comes from those that are on the outside. Uh, you want to have more sympathy for a single mother because she could have it hard. She may go through the difficult times as a mother and not have um, the same choices or opportunities as a man would do. And the reason I say that, it's a man can go get a job and thus he's looked upon as he's strong, he's young, he can do this. Then a mother with children may go for that same job opportunity and maybe say, no, we're not going to choose you because of the fact that you may miss work because you got responsibilities. It's not fair, but that is something that could have happened, or it may have happened in society when they look upon the aspect that you're asking here.
Hmm. Okay, and I get what you're saying because I'm just thinking about
Mhm.
how can I put this when we talk about a like-minded,
Yeah.
and oftentimes as being a male, when you pursue a woman, especially in today's society, and it's like it's a greater chance you're gonna try to pursue one who has kids than one who doesn't have children.
True.
And you're gonna come in and you're expected to be, or you should be, not expected to be, a proper representation of a man. And part of that is being available. Now, when you talk to a woman and you find out you're a single father with your children, primary provider,
Hmm.
and in my mind, I'm thinking, that's wonderful, hi. But when it comes to, I need a man who can prioritize my children first. Did you ever see that clash, or felt there was a clash about who child will get more priority of you?
Yes. Yes. And when just going back to your thought process of like-minded individuals, um, through I would say, like, it's going to certain events, there will be other parents there. If you go to a PTA meeting, there will be other parents there. If you go to a class function for your child, there will be other parents there who also have children. And it's through those courses actually you can meet like-minded. people. But if you go outside of those functions, and say, for instance, you're specifically trying to date someone, you may meet a person who has kids. And when there are two separate households, that thought does cross. If a single dad is meeting a single mother, that and both have kids, that thought has crossed, and the conversation has come up, and it has been talked about. Painting to what's right in prioritizing. I mean, it could be a situation where your kids could be gone for the weekend, and thus, for that weekend, you're prioritizing her and her child. However, you have to put the foot down proverbially and let them know that, hey, I have my own children, therefore their priority will always come first, and discussion can continue from there, whether or not if it will continue or if it will fall apart. But you have to put your foot down. You can't drag it along to see where it goes, because that will
Mm.
definitely get people's thought. Uh, you get them thinking a different way, or a different synopsis than what may actually turn out to be, and therefore you have a bigger problem at the end than if you don't nip it in the bud in the beginning.
All right. One said
Yeah,
children can't get steak, the other one can't get McDonald's, right?
there you go.
I got you.
Yep.
We just settle and we all be Applebee's together. Two for 20.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I like what you're saying. So what you're telling me is anybody who's in that situation, establish the ground rules of how you operate from the get go.
Yes, indeed.
You know,
Just reading the comments here from Chevalier Live, he indicates communication between partners is key for single parents when dating. There needs to be boundaries set and expects that need to be communicated. Indeed. So just a discussion. If you say we're going to take the kids out to dinner, you need to plan what dinner is. Dinner doesn't necessarily mean we're going to, you know, the most expensive restaurant and feed everybody, or you try to find something that's reasonable. Because again, you're looking at little children; they're not going to eat a lot, so you don't want to
shit,
just
speak for
go
yourself.
in and well, get someone that get something that has all you can eat. Therefore, you can satisfy with their needs.
Yeah, because these are some things. These things I would wonder because we often, I'm like I said, I don't have children like that. So
Yeah,
when not me not having had biological children, it's always different from me.
yeah, it
You
is
know,
it is
even
different.
then, even if you're not the primary provider of a private, if you are a non-custodial father,
Hmm.
no, you still have to prioritize your children and make these certain concessions for
Yeah,
everybody.
you do.
And that's why I'm scared. I'm always scared that I sometimes see where drama could, developed. And I want people to be able to say, no, we could work this out, we could talk it out, and we can make everything amicable. Is that the word?
Yeah,
Everything be all good.
yeah.
And I
I
want to
think
see how we can do that. And that's later on in discussion. But I want to, because that really intrigues me. Because everything can't be negative. There's all positive
no,
examples. For example, the words I've been hearing the last 4 or 5 years: bonus mom, bonus dad. Those are, some those made up ass words, but they are made in positivity.
bonus mom. You bring up a point that I think we can discuss that more in depth when we touch on the co-parenting dynamics of it, because
Hmm.
bonus mom and bonus dad is something that's looked upon in a positive aspect when we're talking about stepdads or stepmoms and things of that nature. But I also wanted to just say, when we're talking about the when, where, and how, just to finalize that, the where pertains to where you're going to find like-minded individuals.
Mm.
Like,
Talk
say
to
it
me.
could be a PTA meeting, it could be a school function, it could be a church event, it could be a community atmosphere at a park. You could be somewhere, you're going to a grocery store, and lady likes your baby and say, "Oh, how cute, the baby is," and you strike up a conversation. You're meeting someone at a location that's on even terms. Therefore, everybody is in a more relaxed state of mind. You don't feel like you're being over pursuing because you're just having a conversation, and a conversation can go from there if there decides to be more communication beyond that event. So it's more relaxed and control of circumstance.
Right. So if I want to meet somebody to the grocery store, so I need to take my. If I had a kid, I was a single dad.
Single dad, man,
I need to take my baby to Whole Foods.
it's a
Cause
chick
she's
magnet.
shopping at Whole Foods, she got a job. She
It's
got
a
a
chick
good
magnet.
job.
You get
I
a
ain't gonna take her to Aldi's.
little baby. I have three girls, right? So I would take them. You have them in a stroller. You push them around. Like, oh, cute baby, and you strike up a conversation easy, and it's like, man, this is great. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here buying some fruit. Next thing you know, you get 4 or 5 numbers. But no. But
Right.
yeah, and then the final one is the how, and that's something you have to determine as a single parent how you want to pursue the right partner. And it could be again someone who understands kids, because the fact that a person is a parent may not necessarily mean that they are accepting of your children. They may always be accepting of their children, but your children will be treated like redhead stepkids. So you want to make sure uh, that is discussed, and you not even discuss. It's something you have to observe and see how they act around your children.
Hey, 1 second, Don. Um, you want to join the broadcast.
Oh man, bring him in. Let's welcome the gentleman, sir.
So I'm gonna go mute for a second.
All right.
Oh, wrong button. Hold on. We'll just do it this way. And he's back.
All righty, sir.
Yeah. So,
Bring
but what was the
him
last thing you
on.
said? I'm sorry, Don. this one, me
I was
doing too many things at
explaining
one
the
time, it lose my
how,
health.
the how when you're pertaining to finding the right partner, and because the fact that you're meeting someone, you have to observe to make sure that they don't treat your kids like crap, with they want the world for their children. So that's what I was discussing, the how part of finding the right partner.
So I think it's a lot more difficult finding like-minded people with children. Honestly, I'm just like I said, it's my imagination, because you're not gonna. Let's think about traditional ways that we find women or find partners.
Yeah.
Going out to these events, maybe a club or whatever, go to those things like that.
Hmm.
But now, if you have children that you're taking care of pretty much 24/7 here,
Hmm.
and the other one has children 24/7 taking care of them over here, where is this? So when this person has free time, the other person may not have that free time. So it's hard for
Yeah.
them to actually
It
cross paths
not necessarily.
in their free times.
I would say again, I'm basing my explanation on what happened 20 years ago.
Okay.
So compared, this didn't happen in 2024. It may be a little different now compared to year 2000, but it was not that difficult, because again, you're right. There may be a weekend that the other parent can't get with you because of discrepancies, or prearranged agreements, but that's acceptable. That's understandable. That's not the end of the world. You talk about it and you move on from there. Maybe next weekend, maybe another day, because again, as a parent, you have to understand that I was not always available. So if another parent saying, "Okay, we can't get together this weekend," I can't get pissed off about it,
Right.
and things of that nature. What's up, Yule?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Man,
Not much,
this
sir.
is a great topic, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining on, jumping in with us, man.
Man, I felt my emotions bubbling over 3 minutes into it. I was sitting on the couch like,
Yeah,
That's what we do. But we gonna let you guys be transparent. Both of you were single dads, doing the dating life. Raising good children, being positive influences.
yeah.
Oh damn, he went out as soon as I said positive. Shit, was it a lie?
He's scared about. There you go, man. He's back. He's back.
So
He's setting it up.
what happens is sometimes y'all get overshadowed, and we need to bring the light. And
Yeah,
I want to talk about the woman. I also want to talk about a single woman who may not have children, who's looking to date a man who be
yeah,
the primary.
yeah. And we are going to now begin discussing that as we go to our next segment with this co-parenting dynamics. And this is very important when it comes to, for me, when I'm explaining this from a single parent's dating life or a single father's dating life. How does co-parenting with an existing partner affect dating life? And I'm pretty sure my man Chevalier also will be able to provide some insight on that because that can make or break you if you have a co-parent who is jealous of what you're trying to do with your life and is trying to find every minute, every moment to screw it up. And yeah, that's pretty much
Yeah.
how I can say that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, my situation is that, I'm married and my wife had two kids and I have three. And, of course, my kids are from different relationships and it's taken a great deal of communication
Yeah,
in 14 years to get on the same page.
yeah,
But I think for senior single people that are in that situation, you know, one of the things that I would suggest is that you don't be in such a rush to introduce your kids to somebody new, even if you're really
mm,
feeling them. Take your
yeah,
time to see what your communication is going to be like between the two of you, because when you bring kids into the mix, you
yeah,
bring in about four different scenarios right off the rip. You've got
mhm,
new kids, they're not their parent. There's a parent on the other side that you got to consider how they feel,
yeah,
and then and all of the different nuances that kind of go with those situations. And I think some people take that for granted, introduce the kids too quick.
yeah.
All right, so let's
Because
stop.
yeah,
Go
go
ahead, go
ahead,
ahead,
Mark.
Don.
No, you go ahead.
No, so stop right there. About because I'm all about that topic of introducing your kids too quick. Because from being a guy who always dated women with kids, you know how goddamn I ain't your uncle.
Riding them on the side.
I ain't I ain't uncle yet. Hell, you know how many, matter of fact, come here,
That's the
Junior. How many?
milkman.
Come here, little kid. How many uncles you got? Can you count your uncles on one hand or five? So,
Yeah.
so things like that. So I don't
I've been an
want.
uncle a time or two.
Yeah.
So I don't. So I imagine because I talking to you, Don. You one of the things that was like it threw me was your children they had a proverbial auntie where we talking about an uncle status because
I'm gonna break,
how
break the truth down.
yeah because
I
I
wasn't
don't want to
hiding
meet your
nothing.
kids soon.
I wasn't hiding nothing. I wasn't when my kids didn't meet the person I was dating. There wasn't no auntie. I'm gonna get to a funny story, but even when I was going to see women, some would let me meet the kid on first day. Some were like, "You ain't meet my kid 6, 8 months later." Whatever way, it's fine, right? Uh, However, I was never considered an uncle. I was considered Mr. Don. There was almost like respect being put on that.
Mm.
But even with my kids, uh, it was more like, okay, how my kids would not represent, how would they feel about me dating as a dad, even though I'm a grown person? You still want to make sure the person you're dating is likable by your children because if they're ever going to be around your children, they have to respect them. And if someone doesn't respect them, then I'm gonna get offended by that. We're gonna have some problems.
Yeah. So I'm with y'all 100%. You
Yeah,
know, definitely because we'll get to the comments in a second, but
yeah,
because one of the things I want you to think about, do you when you are dating or pursuing a woman or trying to say analyze, am I going to talk to her, or as I'm talking to her, do you analyze, say, hey, I like this about her, and this, or you like, or do you go first? My kids are like her for this, and this. Do you put your feelings before your kids' feelings in that primary decision if you're going to date this woman or not?
I mean, you
No.
asking you or you asking me? I'm gonna
Oh
Who you want to
say,
y'all,
answer
oh yeah,
that one
don't nut up
first?
now, god dog it.
yeah, there was no feelings in it, and what I say about that, it was like, okay, you talking to someone, you're talking to them as a conversational piece. What they want to do beyond that, you know what I mean? Let's make it happen. But it was not always this is the person I'm going to be dating. Sometimes it was just that, you know what I mean? You see somebody, you meet somebody, you have a great time, you go out for a couple of drinks. Oh, you got kids? Yeah, I got kids. Let's do this, do that. Okay, bye. Thank you. You go and have a nice day. It was not always you meet somebody in a relationship for 5 or 10 years. No, it was pretty much I got kids, so I'm gonna see you when I see you. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be up under you all day every day. So it was certain situations were like that.
I get it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
We want to satisfy our needs, our physical needs. I get that, and that's a whole nother subject because sometimes we satisfy those physical needs, like I talked about on one of my segments with conversations, affirmations, and coffee. With my thoughts,
yeah,
conversations, with my other segment, and
yeah,
sometimes the bonds develop that you didn't want to develop. Now you got a
yeah,
whole other situation, but
yeah.
we get into another topic.
Indeed.
But no, yeah, but basically, man needs to you want to get your rocks off.
There you go.
That's it.
You want to get your
That's
rocks
That's
it,
off.
it.
man. And but the funny thing, not to interrupt you, as Marcus, as I told you before, we've had discussions. When I was with my kids, and then they got to the point they were teenagers, so that I had three of them, so they were pretty much able to stay at home by themselves, and I would go out, with my fellows, go to the club. It was never a situation where I felt like I had to, man, I got to go out there and sweat this chick. It was more like, again, I approach a woman with a conversation, and I let the chips fall. And then after that, if we want to continue
Okay.
talking beyond that, we will continue talking. But it was never in pursuit of a hunt or some animalistic type nature because I got this weekend free. I got to get out and get it in and get it over with. No, it was never one of those type of situations. If it happens, it happens, but it was never like a pursuit thing. It was just more, I'm in the moment, I'm having a conversation, and we both vibe, and let's roll with that.
I
I
I
did it
I, I
different.
He
I
said he
did
did
it
it
different.
different.
I did it different. I
speak
mean,
your
you
truth.
know, well, like for your first question, Marcus, like did I consider the kids? Um, Not initially. My situation was a little different because I had my kids on the weekend, the holidays, and the summer. Which was all the time. I had them every week.
Yeah,
But when I would date, I didn't think about them when I was, out trying to hook up or whatever. I didn't think about them. A lot of times, I either was somewhere else or they were somewhere else because I didn't want them to see random women. My oldest son, Caleb, was the only one that actually seen maybe more than one woman. I think he might have seen two, throughout his life.
yeah,
And I married my current wife, which was the second. And so he never really saw that, so it was nothing for me to really consider as it related to his feelings. But when I started moving into marriage, I was taking it a lot more seriously as it relates to, okay, how was his relationship going to be with her kids? How was it going to be between them? I watched that closely
mhm,
for years. We my wife and I dated for 5 years before we were married, you
yeah,
know. And so I watched that situation really close to see, because if I thought there was going to be turmoil, then I wouldn't have got married. You know,
yeah,
I just wouldn't have done that at all, no matter how hard it'd have been. But then just, again, my single parent experience was weekends and holidays and school breaks,
Yeah.
and a lot of times during that time, it was hard for me to date, even to just talking about the proverbial getting your rocks off. If an
Yeah.
opportunity, I had to do a quick smash and grab type thing. If my son went over to his grandmother's house for the weekend, I was like, I drop him off at 5. At 6 o'clock, I'm somewhere having conversation. You know, I'm listening to songs like "If You Play Your Cards Right, Everything Will Be All Right." I'm going in because
Yeah.
I got about 36 hours to make it happen. And so it was a little bit
Exactly.
different. Yeah, but it's definitely something that you have to consider. And I think today's society is a little different because everybody wants everything to be so ready made. They skip a lot of steps now, and you have a
Mm.
lot more unfortunate
Yeah.
situations that
Yeah.
come about, child abuse, or it could be anything, because they skip a lot of situations
Yeah.
because they don't want to communicate, or they're in such a rush to be in love or to do what they want to do that they don't communicate. And as men, we've got to like kind of set that standard and remember, okay, if we are single dads, man, we got to remember that we had our time before
Yeah.
we took on this responsibility, and now it's
Yeah.
time for us to move, a little bit different. And I think that, men like us having this conversation, it reminds us the importance of communicating with, our children about their
Yeah.
relationships, having meaningful
Indeed.
conversations about that thing. So that's my rant.
Indeed.
That's my rant right there. That's
Well,
my
Yeah.
rant.
because you said you have a son. I have daughters. So was it embarrassing when you say your son find out? Because I know it was kind of embarrassing for me when my daughters found out a situation that happened with me, and I wasn't prepared for it.
No, it wasn't. He I I kind of sheltered him from a lot of stuff. Even when my wife and I were dating and we were living together, there's just certain things he never really saw,
Yeah.
you know. And so he it was pretty easy, with my daughter. I have a daughter by someone else, and she's the youngest of my three kids. I got two boys and a 14-year-old daughter.
Okay.
With my daughter, I've been very careful and cautious in what she sees me do. I don't
Yeah.
During the time when I wasn't, married or anything, I didn't let her hardly see anything,
Yeah.
because I didn't want her to grow up with this idea. I wanted to,
Yeah.
with boys, you parent girls one way, you parent boys another.
Hmm.
And with her, I didn't want her to see me doing a whole lot. She's only seen me with one woman, and that's
Yeah.
my wife that I'm with now. She's never
Yeah.
seen me around a lot of women or anything like that. So I just
Yeah.
parented different. You parent different
Good
with your
point.
girls.
Indeed. Indeed. Because I definitely did that to my best of my ability, because of the fact that they were girls, so they're treated like princes. They're going to be out there, and the way I groomed them is like I wouldn't listen to any type of music that was degrading of women when they were with me, because I
Right,
didn't want them to see that that is something that should be idolized. So they were with me, and then I'm not listening to radio. We're gonna listen to some oldies, or we're gonna listen to something that was pretty much clean. Even though it was a little hip hop, it still was clean. I wasn't not going to sit there and listen to them B's and H's while they're riding with me. It just
right,
not, and
right,
even to this day, it still don't happen, because I'm just not going to accept that, and let my girls listen to that type of music as well. But now that they're adults, they can do whatever they want if I'm not in the car with them. But if I'm in the car with them, yeah, they gonna understand. 'Cause I'm gonna give them that look. I'm gonna give them that
So let
look.
me let me speak to that. So
Yeah,
let me speak to that real quick. Then we can go to these comments.
yeah,
Just this pat was it? I think it was 2 Saturdays ago. I went up to that Patriot Cigar Lounge. I was talking to a gentleman
yeah.
who's raising his kids, family, and he has sons and daughters. But one of the things he was said to me, which also was impressive to me, that a lot of men should keep doing it if they're not doing it. He said he protects his daughter, like he protects his daughter, and he opens the car door for his daughter every time treat like how she supposed to be treated as a lady, and he make his sons do the same damn thing for his daughter and their mama. Because if they don't, they got a problem with him.
Yeah.
So I want to give kudos to that because that's showing
Oh
her
yeah.
Yeah.
what you should expect from a gentleman, a man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that's what that's like. Oh yeah, that's what's up. Now that further proves that the great men are out here doing it. You know, single or in a relationship, it doesn't matter. A man is a damn man. So let me get to these comments. Let's get to Angie B real quick. She got a couple of
Okay.
comments in here.
All right, go ahead and read them over, Marcus.
You got me fucked up.
Ezra B says, I met my now ex-husband. He has 3 boys already, and I had none. I grew to love my boys more. That's awesome, Ezra B. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome right there.
And she also says that's how some single mothers introduce the new, and that's crazy to me. Slide them on in there.
That's funny.
Slide them on
You
in there.
rotate to be in and out of that. This your new daddy.
But
I ain't,
either
I ain't
way,
gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie to you. One time when I was younger, no, I was an adult. I was dating this chick, and I ain't gonna say where she from because their social environment don't have to do with it. But the chick told me to take her out. Well, no, that I had to pay for the babysitter.
wow. Hey.
You need to stay home then. You need to make some Popeyes and we need to sit over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't go out for real.
Yeah.
No, I ain't even paid for the babysitter. Like the second, we ain't doing that. Don't get me wrong. Now, if we're in a relationship or we're really getting close to it, I have no problem.
Yeah.
When I'm genuinely pursuing you, and I know I want to pursue you, I'll break bread because the provider, right? I'm showing you who I am.
Yeah.
But off the rip, no.
I ain't never
uncle.
did it. I ain't never did it. I ain't gonna lie. Look, I might not be popular in today's
that ain't
society
happening.
for what I'm about to say, but I ain't never been that dude. Like, if you have those responsibilities, when we coming together like we coming together, and you got your responsibilities. If we go date, you handle your responsibilities so you can come out and kick it with me. I have never, nor have I ever had a cape on. I wasn't trying to save nobody. I had never been that guy, man. I just, my mom, I was raised with a single mom that made it happen. And the reason
Yeah.
and this was stuff my mother put in me. My mother never allowed nobody to take care of us or, you know, even though her and my father didn't have the best relationship, she was adamant that you only got one daddy.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. She ain't allow no man come in assuming the father role or anything. She dating somebody. This who I'm
Yeah.
dating. He nice. Y'all can be nice to him, but your daddy stay over there. And that's who you call dad, and that's who you revere as your dad. So even when I got married to my wife, she had kids. I came in with the understanding that they have a father. I'm not their father, but I can
Yeah.
be a bonus as it
Yeah.
relates to, raising. But
Yeah.
going in and paying for babysitters, you just
That's a
can't go
bit
out, baby.
much.
You just can't go out.
Yeah.
If you ain't got that together, call
Yeah.
me when you got it together. We can't go nowhere.
Hey. So now I'm gonna be transparent. Not in that case, not in that scenario, but prior to that, and there's times when I tell you I have my cake washed and pressed and starched with that liquid starch you shake up in the bottle, you mix it with
Lord.
water.
Still got it. Still got
It
it.
was so stiff it wouldn't flap at all.
Man,
But,
I was
I had to
praying for
learn.
you long before I met you, bro. I was praying for you long before I met you. I'll
Yeah,
tell you that.
you know.
I used to pray for brothers that wore capes. I'd be like, life gonna be hard for them. God bless them. Take them through this journey and help them learn a lesson, Lord.
Hey, like Marcus said, I used to make the price of pussy go up.
I tell my sons, hey, there's plenty of them out there that they got them kind of responsibilities. There are stages in your life for
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
that you do. So when I talk to my boys, I tell them, hey, look, I believe in the term equally yoked. I mean,
Yeah.
if y'all on the same level and you do anything, but if she got 5 kids, nothing against all women are great. Nothing against them, but don't take on something that you're not prepared to handle. because
So
you're gonna suck at it. You're gonna suck at it. So don't do it. You
not
know,
ready for it.
you got
Not
your
ready for
you create your own journey.
it.
And do that. No capes. As I say, no capes. Hashtag no capes allowed.
Hey, all I got to say,
Yeah.
Black Lightning didn't have a cape either.
Yeah. He's up there playing some E40, huh?
Oh Lord,
All right.
Captain Save I was
Well,
thinking as
I
soon as
had
you said it.
a quick comment. I remember when you talk about you being a stepdaddy or things of that nature. I remember when I there was a time I my oldest daughter I didn't have full custody of her, so I was that weekend dad, and she was probably 3 or 4, so she didn't understand what she was saying. She came to me one day and she was like, "I got a new daddy." I almost probably split my skin and said, "What?
Boy,
You
been
ain't
there.
got no new daddy. I'm your only daddy." And I made sure
Right.
then from that point on, I did everything in my power to make sure she understood, she
I'm the
knew,
pappy.
and she respected that because again, she was like 3 or 4, so she didn't understand what she was saying. Her mom probably was dating somebody, and he trying to be a stepdad. But no, you only got one daddy, so let's get that straight.
I
All
went
right.
through that
So,
with my
Period.
older
The end of
son
that.
too. I know how it is. My older
Yeah,
son, my ex-wife got married, and her husband, we had a conversation. He called me and we had a conversation. I'm
yeah,
cool, you know. And
yeah,
because I'm Marcus ever tell you, I'm a very active dad. I'm
yeah,
very involved with my kids. But we were cool, and then some years later, I made a decision to do something for my son, and he didn't like it, and he called me and tried to chastise me. And and I remember just sitting there on the phone listening to him, and I said,
yeah,
"Man, I know you married to my ex-wife, but that's my child." I had to let him know, I said, man, that's my child. I don't have to call you and discuss. The only person you discuss
yeah,
anything with is the one you lay down with. But what I'm
yeah,
doing with my son, I don't have to talk to you. And so we had been cool for years. And
yeah.
then, I mean, I went volatile. Like in that conversation, within about 20 minutes, I got off the phone leaving with, man, if you ever call me again, this is going to be detrimental to your health, nigga. Don't
That's a
call me no
problem.
more. It was that bad because I felt very
Yeah,
disrespected that
yeah,
because you're gonna lay down the law with me to tell me what I can do and what I can't do for my son. I don't care that he live with you.
yeah,
You can't tell me that. And I made a point to not only call after he called me, I got in my car and drove up to his house and knocked on his door because I wanted to make sure that he understood who I
yeah,
was. It wasn't about ego, but
yeah.
I have always
Yeah.
taken care of my kids,
That's
and
your
I
son.
don't allow anybody. And I'm the same way with my wife's ex-husband. He
Yeah,
can come here to my home anytime. His kids live here.
yeah,
Dude, if you're gonna have an open level of communication when you're dating in these types of situations, you have to do that.
yeah,
You got to put your big. You got to set your ego to the side. But in that point, for me, it was more of, you're not gonna, I had to set a limit about how far we go with that. But
yeah,
initially, our situation was great because the communication was so great. I just think
yeah.
I don't know what he got, but he got it now. I saw him not too long ago. He looked at me and walked the other way. I told him, don't even talk to me no more when you see me, bro. Just,
But those are
you
the
know,
aspects of those custody agreements because I've heard
yeah,
some parents have custody agreements where, like, if the parent, whichever parent it is, say, I want to move out of town. You ain't moving out of town with my child. So
got
you
to
have to
stay in
also,
contingent counties.
yeah, stay within
Contingent
the county.
counties.
Yeah, within the co-parenting dynamics, you got to understand those custody agreements. Or even with that, the custody agreement, like you can't have no man around my child. So you think about that, right? How that can be perceived if a particular parent is trying to date. And you got a crazy baby mama or a crazy baby daddy. It's gonna be some hell or high water coming through.
so
You
let's
have to
let's
prepare
let's
for that.
so I want so let's touch on this
Yeah,
and this is a positive this show about positivity. So we know we got
yeah,
some negative stuff out there, but we need to figure out how can we turn negatives into positive. If you got a crazy mother of your child, or she's not very willing to work with you, how do we, as a single parent father, navigate that troubled water? What do you guys
For
think?
me, I did what I was supposed to do. No matter what she said, no matter what she did, I remember when I put myself on child support. I put myself on child
Yeah.
support with my kids.
Yeah.
And when I did that, I did what I was supposed to do. And then I did, I regimented myself that what I was required to do, I was going to do. But I realized that that's not enough to raise a child. And
Yeah.
so the other things that when they were younger, I would do as much as I could that she would allow me to do. When my kids got older, got to be teenagers, they could communicate with themselves. Although I was paying for child support, I
Yeah.
bought cars, I buy school clothes, I buy laptops outside of child support. When
Yeah.
one of them call and say, "Dad, I need this. I'm trying to do this." I don't say, "Well, talk to your mama because she get child support." Okay, well, when you need it. You know,
Yeah.
I think when you're a non-custodial parent, that you have to you got to see it through, because what happens when you have that crazy parent or whatever you want to label them as, when you
Hmm.
have that, there comes a point in every child's life, no matter what the parent says, no matter how they bother you, no matter how they pester you, the child sees it at a certain point. It's usually about
Yeah.
14 or 15,
Yeah.
and you will get everything that you lost back when they become teenagers. And Marcus, I just went through this with my son that's going to Grambling this week. All his life, man, his mom fought me. She took him, she moved him to Maryland, and this is me fighting to be a good parent. Haul
Yeah.
me into court about every 2 years in Maryland, all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff, man. But one day, my son called me and said, "Dad, I get it." And let me tell you, I remember that day. It's only two times I looked at him and I cried. It was
Uh-huh.
that day and on the day he graduated from high school a couple months ago, because I had done everything I was supposed to do, and I stuck in there, and I got what was coming to me. Now he
Yeah.
sees his mom for who she really is. I never speak negative on her to him, but he sees it.
Yeah.
So it made our relationship even more special. But when you're in those situations, you got to remember you're still the parent. You got to do what you're supposed to do and do what you have to do. You have to regiment yourself to do that. And
Yeah.
that's what I did.
I piggyback off when Yule said I had to have patience, and I looked at the situation and said I'm going to be the bigger parent. I could have been an ignorant SOB and could have just hauled off and did whatever I wanted to do at that time or whenever the situation unfolded. But you know what? I'd sit there and I was very humiliated and humbled by the situations that were happening. But I knew, as you said, it's only a matter of time before you're gonna, repercussions gonna come back. So I didn't look at it as like, okay, I'm taking a loss, because again, this was back in late '90s, early 2000s when this was going on. So I looked at the big picture: 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, who they're gonna be
Right.
running to, and who are they gonna look at as a better parent, and not to judge their mother, but I pretty much think I won that battle hands down because of the way I stood up as a man and accepted blame even when it wasn't my blame, and just took
Right.
charge when I needed to, and it came to a point. I think the kids were probably like 17, 18 when I actually finally laid down the law. And when I did that, I didn't have any other more problems out of her ever again because I let her know that I was just to a point. Okay, these kids about to be grown. All this shit you was doing when they were younger, I'm not putting up with it no more. I ain't gotta see you no more. I ain't
Mm-mm.
gotta deal with it no
No.
more. You are officially done as far as we and these kids going. You want to call them? You can call them. You ain't gotta go through me. You ain't gotta contact me. I ain't gotta look at you. So it took a lot out of me to hold back because I actually had to get very aggressive with it in order for this person to understand because this person was a very aggressive person as well. And you can only play quiet for so long. So if you want to let a person know that you're serious, sometimes you have to step up and let them know on their level that you are just as serious. And once I did that, it was looked at differently from here on out.
All right. So
Yeah.
I love what you guys are saying about all this. This is wonderful. But I'm just curious if let's say hypothetically speaking, I'm a man. I have a 10-year-old daughter or a 10-year-old
Hmm.
child,
Yeah.
and I think I found a woman I want to be with. How do you recommend a man introducing his new partner to his children?
I think, well, I'll just say what I did. Like I said at the beginning, I take my time and make sure that, me and the person that I'm seeing on the same page and we got the same understanding. But when you do that, I think before you introduce your kid, you need to have a few conversations with your child to try to get an understanding about, where they are as it relates, like from a man's point of view. How do you feel about your mom? How do you feel about me? Do you understand that, me and mommy aren't together? We co-parent, we both your parents, but we don't live together. And how would you feel if you saw me with someone else? I think it's okay a 10-year old to ask them those questions. 10 years
Yeah.
old, a 10-year old 30 years ago, maybe not. But a 10-year old now can rebuild your master cylinder on your car. So you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like
definitely a
you
different
can
time.
you
Yeah.
can you can have those conversations. My 14-year-old, when she was 10, we could have conversations, mature conversations like that. And she was, she had been around my wife since she was little. But if I was doing that, I would probably have two or three conversations over time just to see where they are before I actually made that introduction.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think
So
to just to answer your question, Marcus, to introduce your child to the person you're dating, you have to do it in an environment that the child is comfortable in, and it's an atmosphere that invites conversation because kids are curious. This lady sits across from the table from us, they're going to automatically start talking to her. It's you really don't have to lead the conversation. It's going to happen. So, if, say for instance, you just take them, everybody, let's go to Six Flags. That's going to be a fun environment. The kids going to enjoy it. They're going to just start talking to the lady. Before you know, they may be holding hands if you allow that. I mean, it depends on how comfortable they are with the person you're with, and you can sit from observation and determine if it's going good, and then you can determine if if you're dating a female and you have a son, if whatever it may be. But if I'm dating a female and I have daughters, if they're enjoying another lady being around in their presence, so it's something that can happen naturally, but you have to be in an environment that they are comfortable in. It shouldn't be
okay.
forced.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I like that. So I'm gonna tell you something that happened to me. So one of my ex girlfriends, and we was dating, and
Yo.
we pretty much made it was official, and the kids kind of knew who I was. They seen me
You and
come pick up the
Uncle,
mama and everything. That's
Uncle Marcus,
and we say Uncle Ruckus.
Uncle Marcus coming through the
Oh,
back door, fixing the washing machine.
yeah, I did.
uh,
True, I did that too. But anyway, that's another girlfriend. But
Yeah.
but when we really got was serious, she came to me and said, "Hey, she said, Marcus, my daughter want to ask you some questions." So the daughter, I think she's like 30. Oh, I think maybe 13, 12 or 13. I'm not sure. I can't remember. She made a list of questions that she wanted to ask me in person.
Wow.
that's all right.
Yeah,
That's
I was like, that's
That's all
fine.
right.
But what the mama did was like, yeah, she said, I read the questions and some of them pretty good because I want to know some of these my own self.
She probably wrote
She
some
told
of
her
them,
daughter
Marcus.
to write them.
No, she didn't write them,
Uh,
but she wanted to see if I answer them honestly because cause
Yeah.
things she already knew about me, but she also trying to see how honest I was going to be
Yeah.
at the same time.
There was a question posed by Kia I want to bring back up because I think I want to also address this. She says, "You all have mentioned that you've parented girls and boys differently. Do you discipline them differently also?" And that is, of course, as girls, yeah, you have to be. I was stern with them, and grounded them and punished them for things that I think they did that were out of line. But I was also fair. I believe I was fair. If you ask them now, in regards to how I punished them or disciplined them, and I didn't have any boys, so that may have been different. Maybe you'll provide some insight on that.
Yeah.
Well, I parent. I got four boys and one girl, and she's the baby. I parent the four boys much different than I do the girl. I don't even raise my voice at my daughter.
Yeah.
Um, but because I think, and it's not necessarily because she's a girl, but you got a 14-year-old with a 26, a 22, a 19, and an 18-year-old brother, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so she rolls with them on the regular. So a lot of issues that they were having at her age, she doesn't have because they've already corrected it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I catch something, I can talk to her and I can have a conversation like, I'm disappointed in what you did. You was tripping when you did that. Why did you do that? And she can literally sit down and articulate certain things to me, and I'll be mad with her, and she'll know I'm mad with her. But I can almost tell that one of the big boys has already had a conversation with her
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times it's just a lot different because of their relationship, and you got to remember they're all step siblings,
Yeah.
but but because of the relationship they have, a lot of times they head those issues off at the past. So I don't necessarily have to, come down with fury like I used to have to come down with them.
Yeah.
When I had a conversation with her, she gets it because 9 times out of 10, she's probably talked to one of her big brothers.
Yeah.
So
So
it's been much different.
Yeah.
I want to ask y'all a question. Hold on, we transfer this comment real quick. I got one for you. This
Okay.
is really good because actually I want to say you and I had this and Babe had this conversation. The disciplining that the woman that you're marrying or well is married to, who's the stepmom, disciplining your children. You see what I'm
Yeah, we
saying? Now,
have
because
had that
especially
conversation. Yeah.
they got their own children, they discipline them, probably discipline a certain way, but
Hmm.
how or vice versa, if a stepdad come in and wants to discipline your child, how does that
Um,
dynamic work, and how do we address that shit?
so let me just be frank. I ain't having it. Look, I and I'm being real. I'm just being real. I I trust my wife. I always have trusted her with my kids, but I think we did a great job in setting those expectations and those boundaries at the beginning of our relationship that I discussed in the comments before I joined. We did a great job when it came to that. And this is what we said to one another. I discipline my kids, you discipline your kids. We communicate if we feel like we have one of us has an issue that needs to be addressed. What I mean by that, if she got an issue with one of my kids, she'll come to me. Now she'll say something to him. I'm not saying she's not gonna say nothing to him, but she'll come to me and say, "Hey, this happened today." Dot 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 dot. Vice versa. If I don't like something, and it's really getting on my nerves, I may say something to them, but I'm not going in on them like that. When
Yeah.
we get to bed that night, or when I see her, whenever, hey, this happened today. You might want to, get on that, and that's it. I'm not gonna, however she chooses to deal with it is how she chooses to deal with it. But I, I don't want my son's stepfather putting his hands on my son, because if I put my hands on my son, it's with love. I can't trust that when he put his hands on him, it ain't
Yeah.
anger.
Yeah.
And so even when my ex-wife got married, before she got married, I had a conversation. I said, look, if Caleb ever does something that he don't like, I'm the only thing I'm asking you not to do is allow him to put his hands on him. He can be firm with him, he can address him a certain kind of way, but don't allow him to put his hands on him, because somebody else's frustration, there's always a difference. I don't ever want to take a chance that they hit my child out of frustration and not out of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you set that boundary, I think it's like a safety net for all the bullshit that could happen. So I
Yeah.
don't do that to my wife's kids. She don't do it to mine. I don't allow nobody doing it to my other.
Agree with that.
Okay, it seems to be a popular consensus. So I've been a stepdad, so I understand both sides, and it can be it's a hard tightrope,
It
a hard
is.
tightrope to walk, and especially if you're dealing with a father who is not the best at being disciplining, or is not best at being around. Period.
Hmm.
And you trying
Yeah.
to be a provider and a disciplinarian and a protector to a whole family, it can be a little
It's a little
clumsy.
tricky.
Yeah,
It is tricky. The
It
reason I
is.
say that because
and because
the lady I'm dating now has a son,
yeah,
and so it's almost like I'm playing the step parent role. So I can reflect back when I spoke with his dad on several occasions to get an understanding of how he advised me of he expected me to discipline the son. So then also I have to speak with his mother on what she thinks the expectation is when I'm with her is disciplining her son. So I'm looking at both sides and I can respect and understand and not cross any boundaries because I think as a stepdad, if you cross any boundaries and the dad is in the child's life, it's going to be some problems.
It's gonna
So
definitely be some
there's going to be some
problems.
problems. So you have to
Smoke of
respect
the
and
city.
understand that. Yeah, some smoke in the city. So you
Smoke
have
of
to
the city,
understand that,
buddy.
and then you also have to respect the mother to not want to do anything to harm her child because that's still some smoke in the city, right? Yeah. So
I guess
But I
kids say
think
the
it's
best. Don't
well, I
don't
think it's
date with
important to
women with bad ass
recognize.
kids.
You got to recognize though that in some of these situations,
yeah,
a lot of us men talk amongst each other, and
yeah,
I think you know, some of us that are single parents or things like that that have exes that have our kids, every now and then you'll run across a chick that when she dates somebody, she give them complete dominion over her whole life, including her kids, and they
yeah,
don't always care about. And I have a couple friends like that have done that, and I'm always like, man, your daughter got a dad. You can't allow
yeah,
some dude that you ain't even serious with to come in. He making decisions, picking up from school and all of that. Man, my
yeah,
daughter live way out in Allen, and I live in Forney, Texas. That's about 50 miles from here. But I leave work when I'm working.
yeah,
I've told her mom, hey, I know you be dating and stuff, man. Don't be having no dudes picking my kid up from school.
yeah,
I can drive from Arlington. I'll drive that 50 miles, pick my daughter up, drive her 3 blocks, and then I drive to Forney. I don't
yeah,
want no other man having
yeah,
dominion over my kids like that. Now, once you get married, that's different. But if you're not doing that, that's our responsibility to work that out
yeah,
between us.
yeah,
I think as men, we have to sit down and set those standards and realize that it might be a little inconvenient. That adds 60 miles to my driving every day. But on the days I need to pick her up from school when she's in school, I get off work at 2:30. I drive from Arlington to Allen, and then from Allen to Dallas or to
and that's
Forney.
the
That's part of
expectation
it.
that
Yeah,
we do as parent, and that's Marcus from a previous podcast. That's our responsibility. That's our duty. We have to do it. There should
yeah.
not be any other option. If you consider yourself a man and you want to be a leader, have people follow you, you have to make those type of sacrifices.
Man, my
Those
kids are
type
my
of
kids.
yeah,
That's how I say it. I'll say it with my whole chest. My kids are my kids.
yeah,
Look, I don't care about who you dating or whatever. If they nice to my kid, I appreciate it. My ego is not overinflated, but at the end of the
yeah,
day, my kids are my kids, and I want to keep all the BS to a minimum. Look,
yeah,
we ain't got to worry about the way he looking at my daughter if he ain't putting all that kind of time in with her. You know what I'm saying? That
yeah,
y'all time is y'all time, but till you marry this dude,
yeah.
no, no, that's a no go for me.
All right, real
Yes.
quick.
Yeah.
This one here. This is a transparent moment from Babe. She read it for me, please, guys, because I'm about to stutter.
He says, I was with a man who was very active with his kids. His kids were disrespectful, and I knew it. Wrong decision as I'm divorced. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that what that sounds like though, and I know Kia to always be a person that she gonna get right to the heart of the matter. So I can't imagine.
Mm.
But you know, when you look at situations like that, that means there was a lack of communication going in. There was no expectation set about how we were going to deal with certain situations. I think, and when we're younger, we do that. We think that if
Yeah.
we just get together, everything will work out. They don't always work out, you know.
Yeah.
We have to discuss that because if they was disrespectful after you was married to them, that means they was
Oh,
disrespectful before. They
for the
was real
So,
badass
disrespectful
kids,
before.
I'm not even
Nah, I
gonna
don't deal with
entertain
no
that.
disrespectful
Yeah,
kids.
so
yeah.
I got to play devil's
I
advocate for a
almost
second on this
bad.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
The disrespectful kids, or AKA badass kids, we know. What if they disrespectful and badass because they had no man, positive man figure, real man figure, and it takes that real man to make these kids go from disrespect to respectful because now they have an example. Or do should the good man run and say, "Damn these
Yeah,
badass kids," and
Yeah.
go move on? See what you. So what? Well,
it
now
depends. It
hold on.
depends.
Ooh.
So now we
Ah.
potentially put some badass kids in the real world, and you get mad when these badass kids who turn into badass adults with their pants hanging off their ass, now you know crazy, you want to smack the shit out of them because they doing disrespectful shit because another man didn't step up and be the
You're
positive role
right.
model for them.
You're
Well,
correct.
see, you are correct. Yes. Like, go
How
ahead, man.
long do
I
you
just
want to put up with that shit? Do you want to take 5 years to get them kids in line? Because if you're getting them kids in line, what about
gonna
their
take some
mother? She
time.
should
Yeah.
also be getting her ass in line.
Cause she a
Speaking
part of the
like that,
problem.
yeah, yeah, that's
She a
what I'm
part of
saying.
the
So
problem.
you can't get those kids in line and then let the mother slide because if you ain't there, all she gonna do is, baby, you can go ahead and do that. He ain't here. You do what you want to do. You'll never get anywhere. You back at square one. You chasing your
Mhm.
own tail. Screw that shit, man. Hell out of there.
I mean, you could tell that we saying it from an older gentleman's perspective. When I was younger, I might have said, let me try to turn that around. But I'm almost 60 years old now. I
Yeah.
wouldn't, I wouldn't, I wouldn't put myself in a situation like that. Like if they bad, they gonna be the world's problem. They not gonna be mine. But if I catch them in my driveway breaking in my car, I'm shooting one of them. I don't care if I know them or not. No, man, but I think it just depends. It depends on the person. When I was younger, I may have took on something like that. It just depends on my relationship with the woman. But you can tell really quickly going into those types of situations why they so bad. You can tell. It's just like when you go to somebody's house and their kids are nasty. You can tell because 9 times out of 10 they nasty. So
Yeah.
the issue don't start with the kids. The issue start with the parent. And so if
Yeah.
you know you can't get the parent get her together, you ain't gonna be able to get them together.
Yeah.
Don't make no
Because
sense.
if you're not there 24/7, you go to work and you got to go do things. It's gonna be chaos.
Yeah. They in your nightstand going through your stuff and stuff when you go. Man, no, man.
Hey, that's nightstand. I used to go to my mom's nightstand all the time. She kept the good candy
Man,
at.
man, look. You leave your wallet out. Next thing you know, you got charges on your bank card over at the
Yeah.
Easy Go because they didn't went and
These
bought
kids too
7 Pepsi.
smart
Man,
nowadays.
they too smart for that. Man, I've been in choke one of them out, man. No way. No way that almost did.
Hold on.
No way.
All right, so let's talk about the next. Let's go on segment. Let's do
So,
segment four. Let's go segment four, Don.
segment four: self-care and personal growth, setting boundaries, the importance of self-care and maintaining one's well-being. And what I did by setting those boundaries is what I did was I made sure to take time for myself. So I would ask my sisters, my mother, even their mother, if they could watch the kids for this weekend, so that I can go out and at least attempt to enjoy life without the day-to-day responsibilities that come with raising three girls in a society which we got little men running out there hot and heavy every day. So it was always my attendance was up on guard, but yet at the same time, I need to get out there and enjoy life. So I would take spots and situations where I would go away for a weekend or just go off the grid and just decompress everything and spend some time to myself. I think that's when I really got into to writing more is when I was able to take those moments and just take time to myself and listen to the sounds that were around me and write about it. It wasn't necessarily that I had to go out and party because I always looked at the fact that these kids gonna be grown. If I wanted to go party, I can go party, but it's not always about partying is about enjoying what I want to do, which was basically taking care of myself and make sure I had peace of mind.
I'm just gonna say ditto in the interest of time because that's exactly how I looked at it.
Yeah,
I took special moments. I didn't need a lot, but I took certain moments for myself to enjoy the little bitty things that I like to do. And
yeah.
sometimes, man, it was just going in my garage. I used to build custom motorcycles for a long.
Okay.
That's how I made money to take care of myself when I was paying child support.
Yeah.
I hustled and
And a
built
side
bikes
hustle.
around Dallas
Yeah.
for a lot of the hustlers and
Yeah.
stuff. They bring them to me. I take them apart and rebuild them. And that was my hustle money. So a lot of
Yeah.
times I would take because I would have the kids in the summertime and stuff. Instead of me leaving, I would just go outside in the garage and you know,
Yeah.
work on a bike or something for a little while, and then go back in there and kick it with them. Just I would have what they call like stolen moments, just
Yeah.
small pockets of time that I could get away. The kids didn't have to leave or be gone. I just needed, a few
Yeah.
minutes to kind of collect myself, and that's what
There
I
you go.
did.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Being emotionally available.
those general life lessons. You gotta learn to decompress, and you have to not so let the kids know, hey, this is my time to decompress. Chill out, leave me alone for a little while.
Yeah.
Go watch some cartoons. Matter of fact, I bought some good cereal. Go make your bowl. Leave me alone.
Nah, I ain't
I
give them no cereal at night. They be up all night long. Shit. Hey,
all that sugar.
You came up at the time we had cable.
I got
I
some.
forgot.
I got some
TV went off in your
Benadryl. I
time.
got some Rice Krispies with Benadryl icing on them. So y'all go to bed. Get those Benadryl Krispies.
I know you get that
Some
Robitussin
NyQuil
there,
shots.
Robitussin, put this in this Kool-Aid, you go night night.
Yeah, yeah, boy.
But
Look, I found ways to get them tired so they go to bed. Shoot.
but what I would do is I would take my kids to the park and just let them play. Just go play, man. By the time they so tired, I put them in the car. By the time before we get home, they sleep. So that was it.
Oh
So
yeah.
that was it for the night. Just carry
Yeah.
them
My
upstairs, put them in bed.
my secret, because I had my cape on so many times. Take them to some water. A pool drains this shit out their ass.
Oh man, now you ain't never lied. You
Yeah,
you could take them
go
to the pool
swimming.
at 5 o'clock. They be comatose at 7:42.
Yeah.
They be comatose, dog. Look, you get them a bath. I used to make them all get in the tub at the same time. Get in the
Hey, man, you with them dads, you use a bubble bath. You put some damn Dawn dishwasher soap in
Uh,
there for the.
That guy.
Wash
That guy
clothes
right
and
there.
dishes in this water.
That guy. Y'all
To
wash them
clean
dishes
dishes
while
and
y'all
clean
in
your
there.
ass.
Clean the dishes in your ass. That bleach gonna kill it. Don't worry about it. Just get it done. Get it done.
But that's funny.
I tell them
Yeah.
focus.
Yeah, man. We had to take shortcuts, man, because you think about growing up with three kids. I wasn't making the money that I'm making now back in those days. So I mean, you had to take shortcuts. You had to damn near take
Hmm.
handouts. You had to make ways. Like you'll say he was fixing motorcycles. I had a side hustle. I was getting second jobs, man, and working odd hours, trying to make ends meet. Just trying to make ends meet because back then people don't talk about it, that was a racial component to a black man trying to get ahead.
Yeah.
And when the white man let me have done, he's holding me back. The man is holding you back. Physically is holding you back from achieving success, even if you're doing it the legal way. It's crazy how that was happening back in the '90s and early 2000s. Now it's a little bit different. You see people are making moves and economically wise to get ahead in life. But back then, man, you go for a job, you was not getting that job if a white man went for that same job. It was just the way they worked the system back then.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't have to worry about that. You know, because I don't want to be on had no OnlyFans trying to make ends meet as my hustle.
There wasn't no OnlyFans back then. It was
Yeah, I don't want me on
MySpace,
OnlyFans showing my feet and my stomach trying to make extra money to feed my kids.
MySpace or something like that.
Hey, so
Y'all crazy. Y'all
so
crazy.
hey,
Yeah.
all
I
right,
wish
so
OnlyFans was there. Shoot, I'd have been showing my toes and elbows every.
yeah. All right, hey, whatever.
Man, we trying to make the ends meet. Put
Boy.
the
Boy,
hustle on, man.
so guys. So I know we don't hear a minute, but you know what we got to do. You know what we got to do, Don, before
Yeah,
we got to do that segment.
we gotta do that on the spot, man.
So we got to do the on the spot segment. Our on the
Yeah,
spot segment is just us to anybody out there who want to ask a question randomly about and what we our thoughts are. We want to give you a chance to address us, and we don't know the question, and you just put it in the chat. If we choose your question, we're gonna answer it. We're gonna try to, because it's data from the real. We're gonna be real with it, and we're gonna be transparent with it and honest with it.
yeah.
So,
Let's keep those questions going.
so let's go ahead. If you got a question for us, we go ahead and we're gonna hit to do the on the spot segment. You'll stay on because you
gonna
are
have to ask me this
transparent,
question
crying
first.
person I met in my life.
Wait a minute, did you say I was a crying person?
I said transparent.
No, I thought. So check it out, Marcus. I thought I heard you say I cry sometimes. Sometimes. That's what I thought I heard you say. I heard you say it. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, cause I ain't gonna call you out, but
I heard you say
too
it.
much
I
you
said
cry.
transparent crying.
You hear
Boy,
shit.
between you, Ray, and Kia, I don't know which one of y'all worse talking about I be crying.
I
do
cause
be
I ain't gonna
having,
lie to you,
bro, I be
man.
having
You
some
told me you
moments,
cried two
bro.
times with your son. Man, stop lying.
Nah, I cried a bunch of times, bro. I be riding in the car and a song will come on. I start crying. You know, I be like,
Yeah,
man, damn, man, this nigga mama driving me crazy.
yeah. Boy, you cried a Luke song.
Yeah, wishing I was there.
All
Wishing
right,
I was in the building when they recorded
all
Yeah.
right. Let's hit that segment.
it.
Hit it, man.
All right. Let me go to my chat. So I know. Give right a second to type it on in there, and we're gonna talk about it. But yeah, so this was a great conversation. We are appreciate you chiming in on this because I told you it was gonna be a good topic, but I didn't think about hey, come on and join us, you know. But I'm
You
glad you
guys
came
picked an
in.
amazing topic, man. Thank you for letting
Yeah.
me come in.
Yes, sir. You're
Thank you.
welcome, man. Appreciate
And for
that.
those who
Thank you.
don't know you, Mr. Chevalier Neil himself, if you want, well, what you should do on a Tuesday, if you're not watching Date a Friend of Real with Keith
Right?
McLean Poe and Sean Mika, the Dark Therapist, tune into the lounge. You can catch him, Ray True Life, every Tuesday. They have great topics they sell. It's relaxed, it's fun. These are some wise gentlemen. His co-host is the oldest young man I never met in my life. Uh,
Yes. Oh my God, he's old.
and go follow Chevalier. He also has another thing called Conversation with Chevalier. Tell everybody about Conversation with Chevalier real quick.
So conversations with Chevalier is an IG live that I do uh once or twice a month. You can follow me on at Chevalier Life at Chevalier underscore life. And man, we just have real conversations about the journeys of people in the cigar, the music culture, pop culture, food. We talk about the journey. A lot of times we know what they do. We know because they're in the public eye, but we don't always know what it took to get there. And so, when you know the person's journey, you can appreciate it and appreciate the artistry of what they do in public life. And so, I've had some great guests on there, man. We had some smooth jazz artists, some cigar aficionados. We have a little bit of everything, but it's just a great conversation over cigars. It's a great vibe to kick back and chill and learn something new about people that you've been following for a long time. So, follow me, check it out. I do Thoughts of a Classic Man every morning, the cigar track of the day. Today was White Folks Wednesday, and we did Bruce Springsteen, born. And I don't
I
know what it
jammed
was.
to
It
that
wasn't.
one.
Yeah, we did. I did Bruce Springsteen this morning because that's what I was bumping in my head when I woke up. So,
Yeah.
but it's conversations with Chevalier is just that. It's a vibe and it's a great time to, learn something about the people that we follow in pop culture.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Nice.
bump
That's what's
into a
up.
man when you wake up. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. So
Heck
the on the
yeah.
spot question we have is being a single dad is rewarding and challenging, I'm sure. What are the best moments of being a single dad?
Ooh, good question.
The best moments is when you see the reward of your hard work.
Yeah.
When you get your
Yep.
kids to a point of graduation, high school, college, that are the moments that are worth a lifetime of headache and all the things that you go through to get them to that point. It's worth it, man. Sit back and you say,
That's
"Yep,
true.
I did that. I got them to this level." You can say if you did it all by yourself, or if you had someone to help you with it, that's even better. But if you did it all by yourself, man, you can sit back and you can reap all those benefits.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like for me, it's just, seeing their accomplishments, like you said, and also, man, the communication with them as it changes,
Yeah,
and them acknowledging those things that as a dad, you've always tried to hide.
yeah,
The times when you were at your lowest and you didn't think they knew when they look and say, Dad, thank you.
yeah,
You know, each one of my kids have looked at me and said, we knew it wasn't easy, Dad, but thank you.
yeah,
And it's a good feeling, man, to for them to just acknowledge your journey. A lot of us, we're not wealthy guys. I didn't go to college, but I've been blessed to live a pretty good life. Carve out a great career for myself,
yeah,
and for the kids to actually see the sacrifices, because I never let them see the struggles. For
yeah.
them to see those sacrifices and acknowledge it, that's what's the special thing for me.
Agreed, agreed.
All right, so I never been a single dad, and I don't have biological kids. But I will tell you, in my transparent moment, I always had a father, and my dad passed away in 2017. And this coming Friday is his birthday.
Mm,
So
Wow.
yeah,
there's certain things that you realize as a child who we always realized that we always gave our mamas so much homage growing up. But it's along the lines when you're adult in your teenage years or whatever, you start realizing how important your father is.
yes,
That's real
I can
talk.
remember, like I told Kia several times, one of the proudest moments I had of me impressing my father was the day I fixed my car when I was 16
oh,
Oh yeah.
on my own, and when he bragging to his friends.
that's nice there, man.
Yeah.
And this another thing is this was funny. I was thinking about this today. Actually, I was thinking about the last couple of days. So as I get married on October 5th, this is my
Yeah.
second go around. My first go around, believe it or not, the best time I had was when I was during the days leading up to getting married. When my father was like my father, my uncle, my best friend who's like my brother. We was all at the guest hotel, and like clockwork, every day with no planning, we always had breakfast together, and
Mm,
we'll sit there for
Wow.
hours just talking shit, talking and laughing.
wow.
And to me, that was the best. That was better than the whole ceremony, all that. That magic moment that you can't never get back again.
Yeah.
That but makes a memorable impression.
Hmm.
To me, that's the impact of a father has on the child.
Yeah.
You can't never take that from me, and you can't never say my father never loved me.
Yeah.
And so for those dads like y'all, your children can never say you didn't love them. And that's why I said I'm gonna give y'all props all day.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate that, sir.
That
Appreciate
means
that.
a lot, man. That means a lot, bro. I don't think fathers get it enough. There's amazing mothers out there. We all know them, but I don't think fathers get enough of the just due. And I don't think it's because people don't believe fathers can do it. I just think the narrative, socially, the narrative, baby daddy. I don't believe in calling
Yeah.
women baby mamas, and I don't believe in the baby daddy. I'm a father, man. I'm not a
Yeah.
baby daddy. I didn't just have a baby. I raised mine, and I just feel like sometimes, man, that like I remember when I go to child support court and I had put myself on child support, but they were talking to me like that I had to be forced to be brought in there, and I had to
Yeah,
tell them I did this. I had to try to
yeah.
change that narrative, and so it's great when to hear that people acknowledge us and see us for the journey and the struggles that we go through. We ain't all just out there running around chasing women, making babies.
No, no, we're not.
Yeah, we just like practicing sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
hell
get a
yeah.
couple of
I
reps in.
practiced. I practiced 3 times until I got it right.
Just
So
having conversations out there. That's all
It's
we
just
were.
conversation. That's all it was.
yeah. So, gentlemen,
Yeah.
Mr. Yule, Mr. Chevalier, we appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank y'all, man. Thanks for having me, man. I
You're
appreciate
welcome,
y'all. I love
gentlemen.
what y'all do. I try to catch it sometime. I always go back and watch the replay. And,
Yeah.
Marcus, I love when Marcus gets in there. He gets deep in thought. He be like, I,
It brings a tear to your eye, huh?
look, that's why I cry. I'm telling you, man. Look, I ain't even lie, Marcus. That's why I cry sometimes. I be like, my boy is magical. He has so much information and it just don't come out sometimes.
Can't
And
get
I
it
just
It
love
out.
don't, his show gets stuck. I ain't gonna lie.
it.
I had to help him out with
Man,
it.
y'all
Yeah.
crazy, man.
Hey, that's why I got a great co-host. Hey, go and fill it
Yes,
in,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir, man. I'm just kidding,
Save
man.
your
I love you,
brother.
Marcus. You know that. I
Yeah.
love you, brother.
All right, Don. Last words.
Any last words? Let me see here. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to join us in 2 weeks for another engagement discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and date, affirm the real, and leave a review. We out.
What he said, and be positive. Right on.